Our next guest stirred things up at this year's Brit Awards, reigniting feuds, making headlines and fat-shaming Piers Morgan.
No.
He just panicked and went, go longer with the weather, quite rightly.
What's it like in Scandinavia?
Let me just build up why I have certain feelings towards Mr. Whitehall. So every year I go to a lovely event, the Britannia Awards in Los Angeles, and it celebrates British acting and everything. And twice he's been the speaker at this event, the host. And the first time, his jokes included this one. Piers Morgan said Whitehall. Britain's answer to Donald Trump, if the question America was asking was, I wonder what Donald Trump would be like with less charm. This year, he said that my return to America was about as welcome as the return of Ebola. And when the crowd gasped, he said, I shouldn't really have compared them. Very unfair to Ebola. And then this year he presented
Jack Whitehall himself.
I feel
like I've been brought into the headmaster's office.
You shut up for a minute.
I wanted some beef at the Brits.
Yeah, what is it? What is a dutty waste man?
I'm not entirely sure.
You called me that on national TV. What is it?
This is a dutty waste man, Piers.
Do you think it's appropriate to in the current climate of political correctness and being nice about people, is it appropriate to fat shame me on national TV?
No, it's totally unacceptable. But I knew that you got a great sense of humour and you'd take it on your chins. And you did. And I can't help myself.
You can't help yourself.
You are my favourite pantomime villain. And I just...
know that you can go to Piers.
I was like, I know I shouldn't. But every time I just end up talking about you.
But normally...
Maybe I'm obsessed with you.
No, you know what it is? Normally you get a really good laugh. This time what I loved was the delicious silence.
Nothing.
And as it went on and you buried yourself, it got more and more excruciating as you realised that you'd actually crossed a line and that people don't, in this country, in America you got away with it,
yeah.
But in this country they don't like you criticising a national treasure.
But hang on a moment, he criticised you.
A national treasure. You are a regional trinket at best.
Did it really get frosty when you mentioned his name?
It got so frosty. Clearly they were like, we're not saying anything again about him because then it will just reignite everything. And all I wanted was for them to just swear or say something.
Yeah.
But they'd clearly been, like, media trained now not to enter into it.
One of the more depressing things about the last few years has been your inexorable rise to global fame.
Yeah.
First, I'd like to know, can you let me know when it's going to end? But secondly...
Any day. Any day.
Well, I keep thinking that, and it never does.
No, it will. And it won't even be about a joke that I've made now. It'll be about a joke I've already made 10 years ago.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Because the Kevin Hart syndrome.
Well, comedians are now being held to an extraordinary kind of historic account where any offensive joke they've ever told... Like, if you were picked for the Oscars next year, which, God help us, may actually...
The Ebola joke would rule you out.
But there might be, there might be someone who says, you know what, joking about Ebola is so disgusting, we can't have him as a host. I don't know what comedians can do in this climate right now.
It is terrifying. It's terrifying because, as I say, because I've probably already said the joke that will get me in trouble next. And so I guess you just have to get on with it and accept that you're probably going to be brought down by a tweet you wrote 10 years ago.
Right. Have you been through your tweets and deleted them?
Yeah, but there'll be one that I've missed, or there'll be like a MySpace post or something I put on Bebo.
Yeah, but it's true, it is true.
You should just delete all social media, delete all footage of any stand-up gig I've ever done, and never tell a joke again.
Where do you think...
Other than about Piers.
Of course.
That's safe.
The
That's
safe
safe.
space.
It's a safe
Ironically,
space.
it's the safe space for snowflakes. He's making a joke about you.
I actually like the jokes about me. I think it's funny. But let me ask you this. So Ricky Gervais, he has a view about comedy that you should almost be able to joke about anything if ultimately you get that the reason you're joking about this is because you're on the right side of it and you're mocking something.
Yeah, I think so. And I think you do have to hold yourself to account and make sure that all the jokes are coming from the right place. And I think there's a general rule of comedy. I think it's Chris Rock, where he says you need to punch up and you need to make sure you're punching up. And as long as you're punching up, that tends to be a comedian coming from the right place.
So don't pick on...
People who can't defend themselves,
You know, pick on national treasures like yourself, Piers, rather than
regional
swinging
trinkets.
down. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Piers, because you had a go at Trevor Noah, who made a joke on his show about the conflict between... India
I don't see how that can possibly be funny. He made a joke in the
but
middle,
of
a horrendous conflict last week between India and Pakistan with ratcheting tensions. He not only made, I thought, a really inappropriate mocking joke about it, but he also mimicked the Indian accent. Now, you know, he's a black South African, but had that been me mimicking an Indian accent and mocking the India-Pakistan conflict, I would not be sitting here now.
But
I
as
would have
you
been hounded off air.
There are
Seriously.
limits.
Well,
There have
but
to
also
be
I think there is
limits.
hypocrisy, actually, in his case, is that certain people get away with it because they're not me sitting here doing it. And I thought that was, that did cross the line. What does cross the line is your travels with your father, which are hilarious.
Largely
But what's
because
great-
of your father.
Well, largely because he's the funny guy and you're kind of the straight one.
I'm just a straight man. I've created a complete monster. I know he's going to ditch me now and he'll go off travelling with Harry Redknapp or something like that.
You were saying you met someone in America who you overheard a conversation.
Overheard in a hotel lobby someone in America who'd seen my dad and was trying to explain the show to his other American friend. And he went, "Oh, it's about this esteemed British actor from the 1950s who travels around the world with his doofus son." And I stood right there. I was like, wow, that's what I am now. I'm just the doofus son.
Do you want it? You've always been a doofus to me, so you may as well be a celebrated doofus son.
Well, yeah, I think I am a bit of a doofus on that show, and he is very funny. We've just been travelling around America for like previously, we've always been somewhere where there's been a language barrier,
And now
I was
it's
like,
unfiltered.
yeah, but I was like, America will be easier with no language barrier. I've worked out he is much better hidden behind a language barrier where no one can understand what he's saying.
Do you take him out on tour with you?
I think I will do something with him in the tour. I think I'll probably get him to maybe introduce me or be my hype man.
Or just do the tour?
Yeah, or just do the tour. Or just do the
You
tour.
could introduce him.
I think he'll maybe do like the London dates or anything in the home counties. But I think once we get north of Watford, it might be a struggle to get him up there.
Now, how is your love life at the moment?
I'm not entering. I do not want to be in a newspaper tomorrow, Piers. I do not want headlines. I will not be entering into these games. You like headlines. I dread them. This is not happening. Not.
You love headlines.
No, I don't.
Brave headlines.
No, I don't.
How vulnerable are you feeling right now?
How's that lovely weatherman over there? Because also, like the north of
Can you go
France
close up
region-
on Whitehall's sweating head,
No,
please?
not
Go close
sweating.
up on the
Not
sweating
sweating.
head. Let him just sweat it out.
I am a man of complete discretion.
Let the seconds tick down as we examine. Go closer on his head, please.
So
Closer, closer.
I've
right in.
I've got some
right in.
tour
The
dates.
beads of sweat. Beads of sweat. All right, we'll let him go.
Oh,
We'll
Jack,
let him
lovely
go.
to see you. All the best with the tour and the love life.